Alright. So, someone has a 3-line attack weapon. Yes, that's always a good start, right?
Oh yeah, I got that really cheap, like 40 cubes, I think.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was gonna say, was it like a mom potential? Because my mom got her bow as well. Very first hard Lucid run, got her box. Or, I think it was a bow still back then. And then she used like 20 cubes and she got double prime attack 3-line. So it was like the luckiest I've ever seen Zoa Q. And she's like, is that good? I'm like, yes, that's really good. You can't even explain to my mom like how valuable that is, right? Try to bring out a calculator. No, but that's gotta feel really good though to know that arcane, you know, at most maybe a few stars here and there. But tell me a little about your level, where you're at, and where you're trying to go with your character and with your account.
Okay, so right now I'm 280. I've been mostly just frag farming, honestly, and
Okay.
been trying to attempt BM solo the past few days. I have the damage down. I just need the hands. The runs are like 45-50 minutes probably, so it'd be nice to push some damage here and there so I can shorten the run probably.
And that's with because I see some rings here as well. That's with like ring swapping and stuff like that, or using like continuous, or
I'm mostly running continuous because Bowmaster and stuff, but
yeah.
I do run roar sometimes to burst, depending on party play or which boss it is.
Yeah. Like you're doing Kalong and Kalos?
I've done up to e-calling, and I think my static will be attempting nKalos next week, probably. Yeah.
Alright. Good luck with that. It's always exciting.
It is.
Can go many ways. And you have the totaling 4 and the weapon jump 3. Are they somewhat similar, or is you holding on to both?
Pretty sure totaling's just really bad. I'm just keeping it because I have it.
Because it's a 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, because my marksman right now has a roar 4, but no secondary ring. I have a totaling 3 as the other ring, which is still better, you know, for the burst moment. But then, yeah, as you get off burst, then you're losing a bunch of damage based on probably a 22-star ring, right? That's or 21 maybe, that's moving around. So then you lose the DPM on that. But again, like you said, if the boss is very burst requirement, then I think still totaling is a little bit underrated, because I think it still gives me like totaling 3 still giving 10k stat over a 22-star 3-line ring. So I think it's still worth for the burst. But yeah, you know, if you're more DPM heavy, you don't want it. For do you feel like Bowmaster is more like you have constant damage, but I don't feel like you hit very hard without all of your augments from your 2 minutes on, or am I mistaken in that for Bowmaster?
Yeah, but our burst up time is really high. It's like just storm of arrows lasts for 70 seconds, so
yeah, that is
I don't bother ring swapping, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the main thing that just, you know, throws out extra arrows. So then the DPM for the continuous ring, it makes it more worth it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're soloing, right? Yeah, if you're partying.
Yeah, especially for soloing.
If you're like the condensed burst of like all of your burst stuff up is like what, 40 seconds? Or 30, I guess.
Seconds.
Vicious shot, right?
Yeah. Vicious, then after it's 40, and then 70.
The hyper is 40, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then 70. And the other augments, like the flame arrows and stuff?
No, those are 40 as well.
There's 40 as well. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's kind of 40, but Vicious Shot takes the wind out of the sails a little bit there, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's Bowmaster forgotten. Alright, wow, that emblem hurts to look at.
I look at this every day.
Yeah. Even just to remind you, just to stay humble, right?
But I can't recube it, it's too good.
Yeah, no, you have to like fully commit to 3-line essentially.
Yeah.
Or double prime attack with an IED line or something icky like that. So no Saren emblem yet, I'm guessing. Otherwise, that would be right up there. But you've been running hard Saren for a while.
Room.
Yeah.
It's been about 4 weeks, probably 4 or 5 weeks.
Since you've seen one, or since you started running?
Since I've started running.
Oh, okay. So that'll be a while.
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason why you didn't run earlier?
Oh, because Hyperion just launched, so this is just how fast my
Oh,
progression is so far. Yeah.
gotcha. You're in Hyperion. Okay, okay. I didn't know that part of the equation. So it's like the sack gate is but you're not sacred gated
Yep.
for yeah, culling. Yeah, easy culling and easy nKalos have pretty low sack as well, right?
Yeah, those ones are fine.
Yeah, normal nKalos is when the sack requirement goes up quite a bit.
Yep.
And then you look at the hard mode and you're like, well, guess we're waiting for a bit. Yeah, I forget it's somehow reasonable for people to be 280 in the relatively new server already. And you got
Oh yeah,
Riambi hitting
Hyperburn was really strong.
285. Oh, the burst in the beginning, right? Is basically like you got your Legion
Yeah,
level
with
worth of...
Identis and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps quite a bit. Alright, so solo BM, but that, yeah, solo BM, that's just extra practice, right?
Yeah, it's honestly just extra practice.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully a weapon jump 4 to make ring swapping even better.
Yep.
Okay, okay. So which are the things where you could use some help on for me today?
As for now, I just need help probably on how else I can progress because I kind of feel like I'm stuck on whatever stat I'm on right now and whatever damage I'm gaining are
Mm-hmm.
just from leveling sacred symbols and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, because a lot will come down to fragments at this point, but you're already, you know, establishing it quite well, I would say. It's a lot of grinding that you're doing.
Yes.
So, way more than I'm doing, that's for sure. I'm guessing Silhouette Mirage doesn't add too much damage since it's so much lower level.
Yeah, it's just a survival thing.
Does it not gain any functionality with the Hexa Matrix?
It's a very low percentage of our damage, so we don't
Mm-hmm.
usually add it. So we just put a bit of points in it.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
but
just basically following the chart.
yeah, yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, like the Hexa didn't do anything to the survivability, nothing to the support, just to the damage of the skill itself.
It adds survivability on the first level only.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you get it, and then what does it do? Like block
You
more
just never
percent
touch it.
damage, or
Your passive that deals damage keeps proccing even if you don't have the shadow with you.
oh, okay,
Yeah. So it's minor DPS boost.
I got you. Yeah, and then it just increases that damage a little bit more with every level. So
Yeah, just by 1%.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, not amazing then. And the other ones are all just more damage, I'm assuming.
Yes, the other ones are just
Yeah,
part of your burst basically.
yeah, yeah. Gotcha. But yeah, that's some good levels. So you're doing that a lot. What's the familiars at? Because I'm imagining. Oh, you do have a boss, so that's
That should be
nice.
some way down. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So you've got like some healing. So you made all the epics. You got like your large drop and everything.
I have 4 large drop items.
Okay, okay. Easy there. No need to flex too hard. Okay, you want to strain your muscles. And then, so you've been making uniques, and then you have one boss, and then you have some, like probably some large healings. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I have my healing fams more or less done, but I don't really use it because blood arrow
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I just gave up after one boss fam. It's taking too long.
It does take long, yeah. But if you're looking at where you can really like realistically gain without needing to be, you know, like crafting your own arcanes is like a way to get ahead there, right? But that's maybe
Mhm.
not necessary if you're looking at like solo BM and you're moving towards normal nKalos. Like that, it doesn't seem like it's super necessary to craft those because like backups will come because you're doing all the bosses, so you have a good chance of boxes, right? So you don't want to push too much there with your money and with your time. But it seems pretty reasonable to what is the next to max? Is it inhuman speed or storm of arrows to bring up?
It's more of 1 point in everything
Yeah,
evenly at this point.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because right now I don't know if it's worth to continue frag farming because the gains are
Yeah,
diminishing,
those are
and
diminishing
whether
definitely. Yeah.
I should go back to just Libina since I get droplets for arcanes, I get fams, things like that.
But no money, right?
The meso isn't too bad. I've tested like an hour BA, it's about 450 compared to 550 in Shang.
You still got 450 in in Limita?
Yeah, still get 450, it's not that bad.
Oh, but the highest level monsters are quite a lot higher than the area they're in, right?
Yeah, I'm doing 2-5, so mobs like level 264, I believe.
Yeah. So that's only 15 levels difference instead of 25. Yeah. Yeah, in my head I was like, oh, 25 levels because 255 and 280, but like
Yeah.
that would make the meso like less than half, right? It would make like 100 or 150 or something
Yeah, at
at the
some
most.
point the meso just stopped dropping.
Yeah, I think is it 20 or 30 levels, right? 30 levels, I think it just stops dropping. Yeah. Well, because the other option is that you have another character in your account that you have in mind to play more on and to level up. Then leveling that one organically through that and retiring your main character to be a little bit more of like a daily and weekly gamer will also allow the other character to make relatively high gains and at the same time bring in familiars that you can then move on, but you'll have to reinvest in drop rate gear then, right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the initial investment for sure. So if you already have the full drop rate, what's the drop rate situation with you on this character?
This character's drop rate is basically done. I have full drop, full meso during farming and bossing.
Okay, damn, how do you do it all so fast, man?
Oh, I have been no-lifing this for like since launch. I took a break like in January or February, but now I'm grinding again.
Because the launch was mid December? No. No.
Mid-November.
Mid-November, yeah.
Yeah.
November, December, January, February. So it was like 4 months of work into this.
About 5 months. Yeah, about 5 months.
I took a little bit of break, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're not that you weren't time to get it harder, but that's a lot of that seems like a lot of hours being put into it. Were you like racing for first and stuff like that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm trying to maintain the lead right now.
For BM, you mean?
For BM specifically, yes.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And then you're not gonna try to catch Ryambi?
Nah, there's no way. The way BM farms, we can't go past certain maps because of damage.
I mean, the next levels on Arcanes are of course going to give you quite a bit of damage. If you have the money, what I like to do is just even off event try to see if you can get some gains on the Arcanes, right? With a universal backup while it's still a box.
Just try to roulette them, you think?
Yeah, try to roulette, yeah. If you have the money, that's something I like to do so that you don't have to worry about. It could still be expensive though, but then you don't have to buy the backups. Whether that's worth it or not is like 100% dependent on your luck, but there's a decent chance you get like 3 or 4 stars out of one box. But from what I saw, we do have a 30% off and a 5, 10, 15 coming up. So
yeah, I was planning to tap during 30% off if I hit a spare.
Yeah, 30 off, I don't know, 30 off feels like a little bit of bait. Like 30 off would be like a time to do Black Beam marks, I feel like, if you have a bunch of those.
Oh, I just hit Black Beam to 20 stars today.
Oh, you did it? Ah, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one to have done because then you can basically just be full pitch waiting room. You just got there way earlier than everyone else, you know, you're ahead of the pack in terms of pitch waiting room, but you're going to be there for a while by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, I didn't show you my booms, but I have 2 boom Berserk and ET so far.
Already? Yeah, nice. I still haven't. No, I only recently saw my first ET in my main account after 8 years of playing. So you're doing not too badly, and it's sitting on a side character, not even on the character that needs it. So yeah, it could be worse. No worries. Could always be worse. So like for the whole account, I mean, 8K Legion would be nice, right? Filling the Legion more is probably a nice buff, and that's going to be also your build up towards Legion artifact system, because a lot of the final damage is going away from the heroic base base buff, right? So
Yeah, the passive.
yeah, exactly. So it's going to rely quite a bit more on your whole Legion, your whole account, and then of course you probably also noticed that your Legion coins can be quite a bottleneck, right?
Yeah.
So I think between I personally think it's definitely not a bad idea to go back into familiars and see if you could hit something there, because like you said, the fragment reduce of efficiency is most likely there. If I look at those numbers, they seem pretty impressive already. I mean, if you're trying to min-max there, but I think it's a decent, especially if you're getting a little bit of tired of the grind right now.
Yeah, change of scenery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, literally, right? Because you're in the same map the whole day, every day. Because you can't really
Yep.
move up right now. Do you know what kind of damage? Is it really just purely sack, or is it also some damage that could really help you? Because
I
other than
could farm higher level maps with more damage, but it's like a lot of investment I feel into farming here. And all four of
yeah,
my farming rings are event
event
rings.
rings, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. And that's with like rotating G skills and that kind of stuff, like squeezing all the
Yep.
damage out that you can. Yeah,
The usual grindings, rotations.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if you saw the upcoming event. There's like a whole bunch of growth potions and stuff like that coming. And then some
Yeah,
black
I was
flames
hoping that
coming.
pushes me to 8k, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if I can see what you've already been able to do, I think you'll, I think you'll do just fine. But yeah, I think working on the overall Legion, the raid power, then specifically, and then for your main, you know, keeping up with the sack, getting all your weeklies in for those runs, try to chase those resources that you need for the progress. Your idea for progressing is it to do a lot of stuff with the Dominator pendant, or would you want to just more go straight into a Daybreak pendant?
My plan initially was to wait for either a daybreak or a dawn drop, and I'll tap them both roulette and see whichever one goes.
Mm-hmm.
So if one booms, I'll just keep the other one for damage, because I do need a farming pendant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if they both survive, then they're fodder for the superior.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the superior
exactly.
gets more Star Force, yeah. And worst case, the first one booms, then you just stay where you're at.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I guess worst would be Daybreak goes to 18, this one booms, and then you have to spend money on the potential and the flame to gain 1 star.
Oh yeah, that's
that would
true as
kind of
well.
be worst case, I guess.
But I honestly don't mind because right now
Mm-hmm.
I'm one set dawn. I I have
Yeah.
a weird bossing setup right now where everything's sort of incomplete.
Oh, how have you gone about slime rings? Have you seen any of those?
I haven't seen one in 9 weeks. My KT is essentially a slime ring fodder because I'm done with all my subs except sub pendant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you're using Counter Treasure, yeah, because of the it's already 22 as well.
Yeah.
Did you play pretty risky just to try to tap the 22 and you just got lucky on them, or?
Oh no, I only tapped with spares.
Mm-hmm.
I got a KT back to back during launch, so for week 1 and week 2, and I sent it during Shining, which was somewhere around November, December.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah,
went.
it just went. Yep.
Yeah. And then that one still has a drop on it, but yeah, that's all fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to min max it because it's fodder.
Yeah, gotcha. The glove even has all stat line. Please tell me that was your first critical damage double you rolled.
Oh yes, it is. But
Okay,
this
okay.
took about 30 bill, so I was getting kind of frustrated. So I'm happy I did
Yeah.
this.
Okay. But then the payoff is there, so frustration
Yeah,
immediately
exactly.
gone, right?
Yeah,
Like
but
I
all stat
finally hit
lines
it.
saved it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And then some. Yeah. And then 50. So I guess for the BAs.
Oh, it's right below.
Yeah, you did the 35. And how's the damage output on everyone else when it comes to the 35. Wait, that 35 second. That's with your origin and everything.
Yeah,
With
yes,
the
that's with
roar 4.
Origin. No, this is just with Con 4. I didn't have a very accurate BA because I'm 3 days away to getting plus 30 sec, so the number is gonna be like, invalidated very soon.
Ah, you're about to level the whole Scooby
Yeah,
gang.
I've 3 symbols waiting to level in exactly 3 days.
I got you. Yeah. Well, if you're you're gonna redo that BA. I would do it just with the different rings, just to see the difference, so that because from what I'm aware, if you want to do normal Kalos, it depends a little bit on the party composition, of course, but it'd be very useful if your damage is like closer to like 30, towards like being able to nuke out of segments. If you want to do it like like a fast run and you're not really too mechanics oriented, right? You can also, of course, do slower runs, but you just pause in front of every block, cleanse, push into the test, knock it down really low, and then pause and wait again. That's how you're supposed to do the boss, right? But if your party's like less mechanically gifted, like myself, and you just want to kind of like nuke through segments, then the more damage you have, the more that becomes a possibility. But it's good to check with Roar as well to see what the options even are in it. To begin with, you have to look at your party. Do you already know what your party composition is going to look like? It's the same party, right? That's moving up.
I'm actually most likely going to be switching up aesthetic for nKalos, but from what I know, it's primarily 3-minute classes, so a lot of Night Walkers, Dawn Warriors, I believe, and the Bishop.
Okay. Yeah, so 3-minute. So then you'd want to be... does that mean that you'd want to be more in your continuous ring?
I mean, if we're just bursting as a party with Benny and everything, I believe the Raw is probably better.
Would be better. And then you're just like hopping around, cleansing and waiting for the...
Yeah,
because you're waiting longer. Yeah, you can't really commit damage during like him floating around as a Bowmaster as well. It'd be pretty hard because you want to be on a different platform from him because of the laser. So how the hell are you even going to hit him?
Yeah, I'm pretty much deadweight in Kalos.
Yeah. Okay, but that other party have already been doing normal, or they're also just trying to move up from easy to normal kind of thing?
Oh yeah, we're all segregated right now.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like pushing on the same thing, so you have pretty much exactly the same sack, right? Like 1 or 2 days off, maybe.
Yeah, we're like 10 or 20 sec off each other.
Does he have boss rings? Oh yeah, already has row 4, weapon jump 3, continuous 4, and was it totaling 4? But yeah, that's... And ring of... I keep forgetting the name of this guy, but the other percentage attack one.
Oh, Wrist Taker.
Wrist Taker, yeah. I see the R comes in my brain. I'm immediately like, oh, Ring of Restraint. Oh no, wait, that's what Roar is. Wrist Taker, yeah, that's like the only ring I have on my hero that I try to use every now and then. Like I use it for Gloom when he opens because it's the only burst ring that I have. But I guess for you that's a better alternate ring to Roar for your bursting, right? Than any of the other ones on like Gloom.
It's probably better once I get my Genie weapon.
Yeah, the base attack there. How's that going? Are you trying to do the whole thing solo, or is it just a solo project while you're doing the regular clearing?
I did my first clear in January. February was a 6-man clear or so, and this month was a 3-man.
So, yeah, because that's one of the main things, right? Is trying to reduce party size to get yourself a chance for pitched. So you're soloing everything up until like whole C10A you're soloing?
Basically soloing everything below Granzis right now.
Yeah, and then up to and then it's full 6-man just to get the runs in. I guess there's enough people. Like there's not like hundreds of people that want to do it, but there's like a few dozen. So there's very eager people who are like really pushing. Yeah, who want to do those. I imagine. Yeah. And I imagine that your guild is pretty much like on the level of we're trying to push, right?
Oh yeah, guild's really, really strong.
So everyone's like, well, not on your level maybe exactly, but like around there or a little bit above or a little bit below, trying to be like the first people to clear certain bosses and stuff? Normal Kalos has been cleared?
Uh, I believe it's been cleared a few weeks back. I'm like middle of the pack right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, the middle of the top 1% of the
Guild-wise.
pack, probably.
Yeah, guild-wise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's wild. The normal cows getting cleared there, even with the sec gating and stuff. But that kind of shows you, I don't know, like not to completely go overboard, but you know, with like the reboot nerfs and everything, and people are like upset at that, and I get that. But if you see like in 4 months on a new server, people already killing like what is realistically one rank of boss below the server that's 7 years old. It does tell to some extent that you can progress really quickly, right? If you put in the hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So it does kind of give a little bit of credence to maybe, you know, a little bit of foot off the gas here and there. Because you can imagine it's impossible to keep making content that's realistically achievable for people, but also comes out fast enough when people can just blow through the game like this. Because imagine it feels really nice, especially because you did it before on regular, like on Kronos or on other servers. You already played the game, I imagine, right?
I actually took a break. I haven't played since when COVID hit, so it's about 2020.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And I've been on and off the server, but
Gotcha.
I haven't really actively played until they announced Hyperion.
Okay, but you were able to like without a problem like pick it back up and play because I mean some things changed right in the last 3 to 4 years.
Took me some time to learn a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because
Gotcha.
the furthest I've cleared was up till Part Lucid when I was
Mm-hmm.
still playing. So any other boss above that was basically new to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you did get the newer versions of Tenebris immediately because they were a
Yeah, I
bit
heard they
harder.
were.
Like Gloom and Darknell were a bit rougher
Yeah.
around the edges before. A little bit faster to learn now, but they're still not like easy. But I guess yeah, when you throw this much damage at them, then they tend to bend to your will pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
So how much of a cheat code are the lifesteal arrows?
Okay, they don't do anything in Dihila.
Mm-hmm.
I
Thank God.
basically cheese DNL, so I don't ever move when I'm soloing DNL.
Okay.
What other bosses are there? Lucid is Lucid is Lucid, so there
Mhm.
isn't really any one-hit mechanics other than Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Will is easier, I would say, because you can just heal through P1, but P2 I'm pot locked and blood arrows don't work either, so not much of a difference. I think the easiest boss for me, honestly, would be Black Mage, because I can just
Mm-hmm.
play on Black Curse permanently.
Your play on exactly because that your lifesteal does go through that. You just know potions, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, as Demon Avenger, that part is nice as well. But then you play, you play Black Curse, so you have white. You have white Curse at the end.
White shield for P4, yeah.
Yeah.
For the white thingy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Damn. Okay. Well, I guess that helps with the timer as well to get the run down a little bit. Although P4 is probably kind of a joke. It's more like how long you're in P3, right?
Yeah, basically.
You like G-Skill at P3 or what?
I've only been testing G-Skill right up front because I want to 2-burst P1 and get it done with.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And P4, I don't die unless I get RNG'd between 2 explosions.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
And you try to dodge both, and then you get hit by both.
Yeah, or you just flash jump into like a shotgun.
Yeah, you're already in the air. Yeah, nothing you can do at that point. Blood Arrow versus Black Mage is free. All right, Ginger's gonna show us next time. 12 lives left in the next BM run. So which so when it comes to scaling down on parties, I guess Saren is also one, but you think that's way too early for that because of the sack requirement for P2?
I can probably honestly scale down for Saren, but like because it's a weekly boss, I just want to get it done with. So just burst it one cycle and we move on.
Yeah, because I imagine if you're soloing everything up until there, even if you're at 280 and you're this strong, it still takes a while to get all of those bosses done, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
'Cause can you do like C10A within half an hour? Probably not, right? Maybe a little bit more.
No. C10, I take about 2 cycles for G skill to clear weekly bosses,
Mm-hmm.
other than Grandis by myself.
I think that's fair because like as much as like Lucid and Will are not difficult, they still have a bunch of HP, so it takes a little bit to chunk through all of that. And the Will tests
Yeah,
definitely still slow down the boss. It's way better
it's not
now
that
with
bad.
without the 2 minute and all the healing and then waiting for the timers. That made it a lot faster, but there's still a lot of tests in one boss fight that you just have to wait. Kind of have to wait for.
Yeah,
But I guess you're getting kind of sick of like easy Kalos being the same, where you're just doing tests half the time and then just attacking, holding down your attack
yep.
the other half of the time. You just
nKalos is basically we are going in. We are not even bursting together, so we're just rotating
yeah.
bursts between
Hmm.
2 people each.
Not even waiting for P2. I guess just like kill P1, go into P2, kill P2.
We do burst P1 and wait out the cooldowns because I was
Okay.
initially in a 2 minute party, so
Oh yeah, that makes
yeah.
more sense.
After
And
we
it's,
go to P2, we're just cycling bursts basically.
If you have 3 minutes, then the 2 minutes can just burst in P1, and then the 3 minutes can start in P3, and then your 2 minutes is
Yeah,
already
exactly.
back. Yeah, that makes more sense. I mean, there might be that's probably going to be beginning of your normal Kalos. Is just kind of like testing, just seeing like what is the damage that we have, and just getting better at the cleansing and everything. They already made that a lot better. There's still some funky stuff that happens. I don't know how your ping is, so that could really be messing up with your shooting and stuff. But yeah, then you just blink in front of the thing, right? So you're very close, so it can barely miss.
Oh yeah,
And I
ping
hope.
wise, fine. It's pretty smooth. So bossing has
Okay,
been relatively easy so far.
nice. I mean, I guess it does help that you do have all that healing coming in. Then you don't immediately die if one thing goes a little bit bad.
Yeah,
Just snatch that HP back up.
and the passive also blocks damage by 91%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed my mom not dying as much, and it's like, oh, but she's in a Bowmaster though. She's probably getting, because I can see her getting hit and not dying. So like she probably uses those shadows quite a bit. But I mean, that's
yeah,
useful. It's like back when she was playing Arcana, she was like doing okay as well. But like, yeah, you got a bunch of protections and stuff coming in on that character as well to keep you alive, even if you are, not the best at it. It helps you stay on track.
yep.
So do you have because I'm looking at your Legion coins and stuff. I imagine you don't have 700 left because you're overflowing, but because you're budgeting.
I've basically only been buying out my wealth coupons and
Hmm.
uh
And drop for the
whatever
weeklies.
leftover drop for weeklies, maybe damage coupons for boss runs or whatsoever.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm breaking up Saren is a bit too early, I think, or like 4-man maybe at the lowest.
I could probably we could probably one cycle 3 or 4 men, but I think the party's just lazy, so we
Yeah.
just do it either way.
Makes sense. You'll just need a few more months of like nobody getting anything to be like, hey, maybe we should split up. That'll
Probably,
come automatically, I think.
because no one wants to struggle in like multiple cycles.
Yeah, or run a bunch of times when you already have so many other bosses and so much other stuff left to do. 'Cause you're
Yeah,
still on the
exactly.
blow up. So like a Legion wise, I saw that because we're checking the rankings the other day for Hyperion, is that there's some Legion pushers as well that are getting like towards 9k Legion already.
Oh yeah, I'm not even close to anyone on top.
Like it is. I mean, it's kind of cool to see how much people still wanted to go like super hard on the new server, and I'm glad that it's like clearly like surviving pretty well past the bump as well, and it's not just like people are going there and then rushing and then just leaving, because that would suck, right?
Yep.
And I guess
Population
it's.
is actually not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said in the beginning when people are asking, like, they think it's worth moving over because there's a little bit of insecurity of what might happen once when the event is over and stuff. But I always said like it's still an NA server, so it's always going to be more populated than the EU version. Like definitely, it's never going to drop down that low. And we did see that it's definitely keeping way above population of where Solus is at. So I think that will always mean that you have like, I imagine at least like 5 or 6 like pretty big guilds that are competing with each other.
Yeah, basically about, I believe 7 or 8 guilds on top.
Yeah. So that you can, you know, one of those will always, if you are committed and you are trying to go hard, one of those will always have a spot. And then you'll be surrounded by a bunch of people who are also pushing hard and trying to get there. So I think that motivates a lot of people as well, you know, to try to race other people or to just set goals and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very, I would say, close-knitted community.
Mm-hmm.
Where everyone's just pushing content together.
Yeah, that's always the benefit. I often gave the comparison with EU with like just, you know, if you're in a big server, it's more like you're in a city, and if you're in a small server, it's more like you're in a town. Where there are fewer people, but the connection between people is much stronger.
Yep, basically.
You'd be like, oh, there's no guilds or there's no parties. It was like, yeah, but if you know 4 people, and then you know that they do parties, they'll do parties with you. You know, it's not like they can just find someone else, so they'll be, yeah, it makes more sense. So the plan for going into FAMs, going into Legion, getting the Legion raid power up, giving you more coin access. I think that's all reasonable. But yeah, you're kind of like waiting on. Yeah, if you have enough money, you could definitely use 30% offs. I just prefer using 5s and 15s for stuff that I would safeguard, because difference in price is, I think, significant enough for that. But that depends on your own risk assessment, right? You know the calculators, you know how to calculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The expected cost and everything. So whatever decision you make there for your account, that's ultimately that's your decision. But I'm guessing your weekly income, if you're putting the same amount of hours, you know, grinding, you said like the meso difference isn't that big, so your weekly income will stay big. Do you have any desire to work on bossing mules, or are you trying to wait more organically for like hyper burns and stuff like that to just have them get pushed to the surface, I guess?
I wanted to work on a marksman bossing mule, but I feel like any other playstyle that's not Bowmaster is really wonky for me, because you can't move when you're attacking, and that's a really big thing for me, I guess, when bossing.
Yeah. Wild Hunter can do that, right?
Yeah, maybe War Hunter.
You know, a lot of people like Wind Archer as well for a bossing mule. Of course, you can't like attack and move with your Hurricane, but you do have a puppet, and you can like stutter step it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since you know the mechanics well of the bosses, you can make it so that you have to move very little because of your positioning. But the puppet for both the marksman and the wild hunter, I've heard as a strong argument of why people like it as bossing mules. I guess the only downside I know for marksman is that you need that attack speed inner ability, right? Without that, you're just super duper slow, because you're actually moving. It's for like one archer to the other archer in the same branch, but you're moving from the fastest attacking character to the slowest attacking character in the game.
Yeah,
so I imagine that feels really weird. It's just like, oh, we're both archers for the same, but you're like so different.
The concept is completely opposite of each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the elegance of a bow versus like the clunky, you know, heavy crossbow that you would be wearing, right? Like it's they both, well, one shoots arrows, the other one shoots bolts, but like in terms of a weapon that you're wielding, it's very different. So I think that makes sense, right? It's like a Corsair or a Cannoneer or something, like both pirates, but one is holding a pistol and the other one is literally carrying a cannon around. So it's a different vibe. That makes me think maybe a marksman should scale harder off strength than a bowmaster, because a bow is much lighter and a crossbow would be heavier, right? So you would have a higher factor of strength versus just dexterity. And this is your 6 minute. 230 bill a second on a 6 minute. 4 or 5 months in, Jesus, dude. I mean, it's impressive, honestly, the amount of progress you've made. So the other bowmasters are on your tail or not?
Oh, there are barely any bowmasters on this server. I think we're like 50% Nightwalker and Dawn Warriors. A lot of bishops, and the rest are just niche classes.
Yeah. I guess since you're selecting for people who wanted to like push through the game quickly, and bishop being where it's at, it must be pretty easy to find a bishop support, because there must be
We
percentage-wise
actually
quite a
have
few.
more bishops than parties, I feel, on
Yeah,
the server.
bro.
Yeah,
Double bishop parties coming in.
maybe.
I mean, honestly, if you have more DPM heavy characters on something like normal Kalos and you have 2 bishops, so you can use 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's probably not even a bad idea mathematically. If
But
you're
the
doing
problem
whole
with
party bursts.
Hyperions, we only have bishops for supports, so we barely have any other supports going around. I think there's like probably 2 or 3 Kana mains.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are getting pulled every which way direction to supplement the party.
Yeah, and we can't make Beast Tamer yet, so everything's just bishop and 5 DPS.
Yeah, that's why Rambi's going so hard on the Kinesis, so that when Lin comes out, he can full swap over probably. You know, he's that animal main.
Yeah, maybe.
Kanas are valuable. I got you. Okay. Maybe with the hyper burn, you see a lot of people just making an extra Kana or something to get into parties.
Oh, hopefully.
And they don't have to suffer through the earlier leveling. They can get stronger immediately with all the summons. So which of the future things? Because you were saying like other ways to get stronger, but I feel like you know the game already pretty well. So I don't know if I can pull any rabbits out of a hat for you at the moment in terms of like ways that you can get stronger that you don't even know about yet. You know.
I mostly stuck between whether I should be farming in Grandis or in Vanishing Journey, or what I should be doing in terms of, let's say, if I'm playing 8 hours a day, should I be farming? Should I be making a boss meal? Things like that, probably. How
Sure.
I should spend my meso.
Okay, so what's your weekly income at?
I do about 3 to 4 webs a day, probably, on average. And this is my only farming. This is my only bossing character, so just weekly is probably 5 bill, 4 to 5 bill, and an extra 3 to 4 bill a day.
Yeah, 4 is like the boss crystals, right? Yeah. And then, what did you say, 3 bill a day?
One warp is basically one bill, so depends on how many I do.
Gotcha. Okay. So in a week, you would say you do like 18 or something?
Easily 20 bill.
Easily 20 bill? Okay. Well, so like 8 plus the boss, yeah. So like 16.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
total 20. Okay. So that's so that's a lot. So you'd have to, with every 1 WAP that you don't do, you could have a bossing mule, you know, bringing in that same money, hopefully in around half an hour to scale up on that. But the amount of time that it will take you out of what you're doing already, you know, if you take like 20 hours out to make your character, that means now you're 20 bill behind, right? You're like 20 wops behind, or 10 wops behind, I guess I should say. So there's a heavy investment cost there, and if you're still seeing specific gains, you could start mathing it out as an hour, but you really have to start dissecting, like, this is how many hours I put in this is how many hours I put in that. Are there some characters that you already have that are like in the 200s that you can already push there pretty easily?
I'm very nitpicky in terms of what class I really want to try. Right now,
Well, try
my
or
marksman is...
play.
use them as bossing meals, I would say.
Yeah, okay. Because I would try them all, right? Just like get the 5th job and just like try maybe like a limit test on CRA or something with like barely any funding, and see if it's fun for you to do that at all. And if it's really annoying for you, then just discard the character, leave it to the side. But if it's an interesting kit or something that, you know, you kind of see something there. So what I did personally was I funded them very organically. So like all of my cubes, all of my flames, whatever, all of the money that's in items that's not in meso, I would always put towards whatever the next character is that I was interested in. And then that character would slowly build up, you know, like Symbol Dailies on there, Monster Park on there, that kind of stuff. And then it would slowly just gain levels very easily up to like 220, 225 without really any trouble. And then you can see which bosses you can do. If that gets more fun, then I commit to it, and then I fund it towards like Lotus and Damien, essentially. Usually that's just adding more nodes to it and then getting the WSE to Legendary. That's usually like base funding that goes very well. Everything else is like epic or unique, and just slowly gains a little bit of percentages with all the free cubes, until you get to the point where the cubes and the flames actually kind of ruin that character's gains, and then you start moving that over to the next one. And then with every extra boss mule you make, you'll have more resources to throw to the next one. It's slower this way, but then also if, you know, a character, you don't like it as much, you can also drop it more easily, I feel, because you haven't invested as many hours into it. Because it seems like your hours are still very valuable for you on your main, even if it's not, you know, for, maybe you do like one WAP in like Grandis, right, to make sure that you get some fragments. But it seems like now, like WAPs in Limina will help you more because of the familiars plus like droplet backup, because it's going to be potentially really expensive to get your arcanes up there. I don't know if you are going to be in like the 21 arcane or still the 22 arcane generation, because if you're pushing for endgame stuff, you're probably going to have to go 22, because you'll have to fight the sack gate like the whole way up, right? So you want to be as strong as you can be on your equips, and you want to have a decent amount of fragments built up and like Soul Urda dying in your inventory, so that when the new Mastery Core comes out, you can immediately start pushing that.
Yeah, I've
yours
been
is
waiting
good,
on.
right? It's like Arrow
Sorry?
Platter. Is it Arrow Platter and what else is in
It's
there for
Arrow
you?
Platter, Arrow Stream, and Final Attack, but it's very, very minimal gains, but it helps with farming.
Well, yeah, because the
Yeah.
sack problem in being able to go to the next area is kind of a big one for you now, right? So Arrow
Yeah, that's
Platter would
true.
actually help you be able to train there.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
And not needing like the insane 22-star drop in Mesogear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing for you, yeah. And that'll give you definitely the green light to go to the last area and to not be, or the last area that you can access. But I think that gives you a good time now to spend definitely disproportionately more time towards Legion mules and getting, you know, fams and droplets and stuff like that in Limina. I think you've earned moving into that area for a bit. Again, unless you feel like you're threatened by another Bowmaster or something, or you feel like you want to, you know, keep maintaining your rank 1 and your EXP is just not going up fast enough. I did my last level and a half now on my arc just with dailies essentially, and just training like half an hour a day, just doing some coupons here and there. For me, that's I mean, it's slow. You know, you can't say that it's fast for sure, but there is steady progress there. So if you do that for a few weeks, maybe you can see like, okay, this is way too little. I want to, you know, I want to keep leveling forward, so I want to spend more time in Grandis. Or, you know, you get lucky and you actually hit some bossing fams, and then, or 1 or 2, right? And you can be like, I hit 1 bossing fam, that's enough for now. Maybe I'll get the last one later, right? Or maybe off of another character, something like that. So you can let RNG kind of decide as well, or your personal experience in switching the hours around. But I think it's totally fine if you spend like all of the WAPs that you're doing now in Limina instead. Maybe do that for like a week or for like a few days and just see how that feels, right? But for bossing mules, I do it more organically. But if you want to be like, I'm just going to throw like 10, 15 bill at a character, or, you know, however much it takes, but I'm just going to like legendary WSE, get everything else to like unique. Maybe if they need, some classes might need like a legendary hat, you know, for like cooldown reduction or something like that. Or something that's important there. But like how you're going to fund them in terms of equips is another question, right? Like, are you just going to go full Abzo on them? Then you'll need to do a whole bunch of Abzo weeklies, right? It takes a whole bunch of time added up. So make sure that you're looking at the time investment there. You seem like you, because you did all of this as well. I don't know if you have any spreadsheets, but it seems like you might be someone who has one of those. To kind of just total up like the hours that it just takes to do a singular thing, because I'm usually more free-flowing and more organic in that. Like if I want to do that, I'll just go do it, and I don't really worry about the time that it takes. But it seems like
yeah, just week everything as well. I don't do spreadsheets.
Okay. But it seems like you would be interested in seeing like how many hours would it take to completely build up like a bossing mule to a certain level versus if I spend it all on fragments, right? Because you are wondering about the time efficiency.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it might be worth just to make 1 bossing mule and just kind of like catalog how long that took for yourself to do it, and then based on that, see like, do I want to do that again? will that make sense? Is this something that pays itself back in like 2 months, or is it something that pays itself back in a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely, so I would also limit in how many of them you try to make at the same time, because I mean, obviously it's going to be the same amount of money, and the sooner you make it, the faster they can make their money back. But if a large percentage of all of your time is going towards only preparation, that can lead to kind of losing track of what the actual gains are, because you're like sacrificing a lot of short-term gains in that sense. So I would only
Yeah.
do that if there's like an event that heavily supplements that. Like if there's some kind of, we're getting like a kill monsters near your level daily thing, right? With like explosions and extra bonus EXP. If that's a significant amount, then I'm usually more okay with like spreading yourself very thin for like a little bit and then, you know, refocusing after the period like that. But it seems like it's like 10 explosions per character per day or something. You probably like within 15, 20 minutes, you're probably through that. So doesn't seem like that's gonna especially like warrant doing a lot of stuff on a lot of characters. I'm more in favor of if it's like, oh, you know, you have a daily per character that can give you like half an hour of triple EXP or something like untradeable on the character. That seems more valuable to me to be like, okay, maybe we try a little bit more, you know, diversifying the time. But these days, you know, with you wouldn't even have to grind that much, so you can very much spec your character specifically for bossing. Because, you know, with symbol dailies on Monster Park, daily EXP, you can always be bringing up a side character very easily, like into the 220s, without really even having to grind on it. Getting those little bits a day. Because there's probably some chunks of EXP now that you don't... Like, do you still take, like, the Tenebris dailies? Do you still do those for this character?
Yes, so I do C10 dailies, I do Monster Park, basically everything else other than Vanishing Journey on this character.
Mm-hmm. Wait, when you say Vanishing Journey, you mean the whole Arcane River, or just the...
Oh yes,
Yeah,
so
okay.
anything that involves symbols I don't do, I do the ones for Spark.
Gotcha, yeah.
Mhm.
Although you're probably fine on Sparks if you're doing C10A, right? Like, you don't need the... Oh, because you're practicing BM, you need, like, extra keys.
I'm seeing myself needing extra keys possibly because I might be sending a few solo attempts probably next month.
Gotcha. Yeah, now you're practicing on practice mode, right? So you don't need any keys. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember back in my day, every single run needed a key. That was a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
You have like one attempt a day, and you need a key for it. And then practicing, like learning to get better, is very hard with that pressure on it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's two ways of doing it, right? So I have more the free flowing, like I just kind of do it as it comes, as the game shows me options, and then I just fund characters based on the resources I have left over. So if I have a lot of nodes, I'll throw nodes at a character. If I have a lot of money at the moment, I'll throw money at a character. But it depends on what else you're doing with your account. So I'm expecting that your fee matrix is probably maxed out to the brim, right?
Oh yeah, B Matrix is completely done.
Yeah. So, and since you're grinding so much, you probably have a decent amount of nodes, I'm thinking. So I'll probably dedicate slightly more nodes to the bossing mule. I would always just start with, you know, you can always start low and then add more if your character is too weak, right? Just do like a test run of bosses and just see if it's just, you know, just takes too long. Ideally within half an hour, you know, G skills. I don't know, you guys probably have like a bossing mule guild attached to your main guild, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have to do anything especially for that, but try to see if you can get some spots in there. But yeah, I always like Reinforced Gollux, especially if it's going to stay like a relatively low-level bossing mule. If you're going to go higher, you can go for Superior, but it takes a little bit longer to get online with that, right? And then G-Skills and 215% ID FEMs. That's always a really solid foundation. And then Legendary WSE, and then just enough nodes, and then you kind of just see where it goes. You know, if you need to do a little bit more dailies, if you need more nodes, if you need to get all the other gear up a little bit more. But it usually comes down to the character's kit that early on, right? Like into the into 220s and 230s. If you have a solid fifth job, then which most classes have. Then you can just blow up the bosses as long as you don't pick ultra supports to try to do bosses as quick as possible. But it comes down to the bosses that you like. So I think the less you fund them in the beginning, and then you notice that you like them, then you can dedicate more resources to them, and it'll feel good. If you dedicate a lot of resources and it ends up not feeling that good, I think that sucks, and then all of those resources are gonna stuck there. So you want to avoid that situation essentially. So yeah, I'd make a short list of which characters you're considering, and then get them all to like 210, 215, and just try to CRA on it and see if that confirms your what you thought, or if that you might need to keep looking. Because as long as you add like a group of like 4 to 5 or something, you're probably fine. Because it seems like you like grinding a lot, so I wouldn't lock myself into having to do too many bosses too much. And hyperburns and stuff like that are coming anyway. So then you can use that to choose, like, do I want to bring another character up, or do I want to get an existing character augmented to the next level, so I can do those higher level bosses with it and have it kind of more as a secondary or just as a really strong bossing mule. And then based on where you're going to position the character, I would fund it. So, like my goal for my Fire Poison was I'm just going to go to 260. I'm going to do I want to do Hard Lotus, for like extra black hearts, for example. That's something you want to think about for the future as well, right? If you're going into pitch. I feel like if you get a 260 and you get 6 job, then I feel like you need to be doing at least Hard Lotus, right? For the account. And then everything else, if Hard Damien takes too long, I could just do normal Damien, like it doesn't really matter, just get the crystal in. And then I could do like normal, lucid, easy will, like those are all doable. Slime is very quick. If that's like the highest you want to do with the character, then I would suggest to just go like high Starforce Absolab. I think compared to what I did, I think it's fine to make 21 fodder into 20 Abzo and then not do the weapon. And for the weapon, get yourself into like hard lucid parties, you'll be easily green. And then just earn yourself the arcane weapon. I think that ends up being better than what I did making the 20-star Absolab in hindsight. 20-star Absolab weapon, because arcane is just like the base is just so much better. So I would do that instead, honestly. But then yeah, you don't even need like that many 20s and 21s and stuff. Like a whole bunch of 19s is probably already good. That can get you quite a bit over 40k stat, and it should be a reasonable Hard Lotus attempt. But some people are like, I want to have Hard Lotus mules, but I want to have them do it like in 10 minutes at the most, so they're going closer to, going towards 50k stat.
That's basically a second May.
Yeah, exactly. But that means that, well, if you're that strong to do that quickly, now you're getting in a situation where you should be able to like duo C10 as well. And then are you going to get tempted to do that, right? So you have to kind of protect yourself sometimes as well with, I don't want to become like the plaything of the game, where the game kind of rolls me into the next content organically. And then you get tempted to do that, and then maybe you get distracted from what the main goal was. So if a character's goal is, I want to get black hearts for the main character in a reasonable amount of time, then that's what you want to fund for. And then sometimes, people in my chat will be like, oh, why aren't you killing this boss? It's like, well, I know I can, but I don't want to take the time for it. I don't want to get tempted into, running that rat race with this character. Like, I'm already running a whole lot of other rat races at the same time. Like, you have to pick your battles somewhere where your time goes, right? So as long as you're still liking the Bowmaster, you want to progress the Bowmaster, I would look for every single other character in terms of like, what is the purpose of this character? And based on its purpose, how strong do I need to be for that? And based on that, what is the most optimal way to fund for that specifically? And yeah, how you get there, the value there might be connected to, do you have hookups through the guild? Like, can you do exchange carries? Can you do stuff like that? Because that can make it easier. But in my opinion, 17 arcanes is about as expensive, ticks longer, and is a bit weaker than 20-star Abzos. So I like that for some mules who are going that far. If it's below that, I don't like the Abzo weeklies. So I cross those off my list as much as I can. So I will just go for like a combination of Tyrant and other Flame Advantage stuff to make it so that my characters can get to 20 to 25k stat or something for like Lotus and Damien, and do that very reasonably fast. And then eventually they get towards 30k if I do more symbol dailies or I get more, cubes on them. But, once you're like low 20s, that should be very, very fast. So.
So you think it's more worth it to invest arcanes on a bossing mill for the long term?
So yeah, if it's a bossing mule, like what kind of boss mule would you be looking at? Like what kind of content would you want to do on it?
So, so how much to invest would be depending on how much content I want to clear. I assume.
Well, one is like how quickly you want to do it, but there's also class differences, right? So sometimes people do get bogged down in like, okay, I need to spend, I need to get it to level 245, I need to get 25, but whatever those numbers are. But some characters will just be able to do it faster than others. And what I'm usually looking at is, can I do all the things I need to do within the half hours of the G skills?
Right.
And if I can do more things, then can I add the next boss into the same rotation? And if investing like 5 to 10 bill means now I can do an extra boss that makes you like, an extra 500 mil or something per week, then that pays itself off in like 10 to 20 weeks. So is that worth doing for me? Do I see that in my total time frame as available? Yes, then do it. If not, then don't do it. But you have to draw the line somewhere, otherwise you just keep going, right? And you never stop. So that half hour mark I think is a good limitation with the G skills, because then once they're off, you get considerably weaker. And and you have, if you want to start using coupons as well, right? Like Legion drop coupons on all of them, that's going to add a little bit up as well in terms of pressure on your Legion coins. It's like, do you want to do that? Is it necessary? It's not really necessary, but once you can afford it, gives you way more, not more flames, but more cubes. More soul shards. Soul shards can help for Magnificent Soul. More cubes can help to fund the other characters. But it might not be worth it for your account. If you have a lot, then it's probably worth it. So the question is more, what content do you want to be able to do within that half hour? So most people go pretty quickly towards like Lotus and Damien, and then all the crystals below up until like Hardhilla, and just try to sell all of those. For most of those characters, like, so I don't even think you need Abzos for that. Some people will go try to get arcanes on those characters. You could do that, but it almost is, you're waiting longer until you get the arcanes on there, then you could have already started killing the things with weaker gear, I feel. So I would really only look for arcanes if your character is going to go at least up to 250, and it's going to go into like doing slime, easy lucid, maybe even normal lucid or something. Then I would maybe look at arcanes. But personally, because of like exchanging and then having to sell extra crystals when I'm already capping on crystals, because you maintain crystal value if you're exchanging, right? If you're like duoing. But now you have to sell 2 crystals for the same value. So you do lose a crystal value there. So you do lose like a 70 or an 80 mil crystal probably every time. Which is not the end of the world, that's a premium that you pay to get arcanes. So, that's worth it. But it might take you a month plus to get a character like some arcanes. But also, if you have enough characters, like within a week you could get them full Abzo, like 20 star, and just already, or even just 17 star Abzo, and probably also be able to do the content within half an hour. So I think then you're like waiting too long, and then you're missing out on cashing on time that you could be cashing in. And instead you're just waiting on the preparation, and then when you're done, I think you're going to be too strong. So if your goal is to go further, then you want to set that path in motion early and start working on arcanes. But like I said, I think really the only thing you really need is like an arcane weapon, but that's what I would say if you're trying to get to the point where you can basically like kill Hard Lotus quickly, and maybe like trio C10A and like duo very easily, possibly solo long runs like Hard Lucid and Hard Will. But then
I
if you're
feel
going
like
in,
if I want to make a boss mule, I would push it to 6 drop just to make my life easier with Origin and everything.
Sure. But then the boss that you're looking at is not like, when most people say boss mule, they mean like Lotus and Damien.
Yeah.
But if you're saying 260, you're talking like Hard Lotus, Hard Damien, basically, right?
That's true.
That's a pretty big step from that. So
It's
you want to fund for
big
that.
Investment.
Yeah. And then arcanes make sense, but that for a lot of people that would already consist of like making a secondary character.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because you can make a lot of money if you just make a whole bunch of little 230s, and they do Lotus and Damien. They're all bringing in a little bit more than a bill per week. You've got 6 of those, you got an extra 7 bill, and you can do that in 3 hours. But it takes some time to invest off of there. But if you're okay with taking a little bit of foot off the gas anyway, with doing the hardcore grinding on this, there's a pretty straightforward plan. I need to mention a lot of the snippets along the way already through symbol dailies and through like Monster Park runs, you can get levels on there very quickly without even having to grind. So I like doing that on the side in terms of time efficiency. That's very high time efficiency. Symbol dailies, a lot of stat, a lot of damage from that, and a lot of EXP from that. But if you build multiple at a time, then you have to share the EXP, right? And then that scales down. So I guess I would focus on one, especially if you're trying to push it that far. But if you're pushing it to 260, yeah, then arcanes could work. Like I said, what I would probably do for mine is like 20-star Abzos and then 17-star weapon for arcane weapon is probably what I would go for. Because I feel like it's faster, cheaper, and stronger than 17 arcane. But if eventually you're thinking about pushing to 18 and to 19 arcane, then going straight for arcanes makes more sense. Or just making 17 Abzos and then, with your guys on full arcane, then that makes more sense, right? It just depends on what you see as the end goal for the character.
I see. So if I'm someone who would prefer 2 to 3 strong characters over maybe 7 or 8 boss mules that take a long time to kill bosses, it would be better to go arcanes for the long term, you would think?
Yes, definitely. You will also, but remember, you're saying longer to kill the bosses. Your higher level characters probably will take longer to kill the bosses than the lower level characters, because you're going to kill way more bosses on it. So it's less time per individual boss, but your total time spent bossing will pretty much always go up. It's like with dailies, right? Like, oh, I want to get more levels so that I can do the dailies faster. But you're doing the dailies slower, but you're doing more dailies in the same time. So that's how the game is built up. It's not like it gives you more stuff in the same amount of time, but it makes you still want to spend more time. So it wins and you win at the same. You feel like you're winning, but the game is actually winning because it's getting you to play more, right? Because that's ultimately their goal.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I was saying it's purely negative, right? But it's good to stay aware. That's why I'm saying like set a purpose for your character, because otherwise you're just rolling into the same thing as you're rolling in with your main. Like eventually, oh, maybe you get a pitch drop, and then like you try to tap it and it actually goes to 22, and now you want to get more pitches on it, right? It's it's good to. And then other people, that's why if I get a pitch or something on like a side character, like I'll try to tap it, but I'm never gonna try to go for 22. Like if I go for 21 and it goes, then that's a great upgrade for me, because my character probably doesn't have something stronger, because my purpose was probably not to get that strong in the first place. And then that can look a certain way to certain people, but ultimately you decide, what your account does and what your characters do, where you spend your money.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that with that strategy, it would take a little bit more, like you said, being picky and being particular on what you pick, because your goal is to push it very far. So that makes sense. You don't have to feel bad about that, right? But it does mean that I would set that character or a few characters that you have on your short list in a few scenarios where you get to really determine, like, do I like this character? If you're going to do harder level bosses, I don't know, it might seem weird, but I would do something like the spirit, the spirit saving thing. What is that? Oh, dude, why am I blanking on the
Spirit
name?
saving?
Spirit saver, yeah, the spirit saving thing. Spirit saver, yeah. Just because a lot of people hate it, but I think it's a good test to work on your mobility while getting chased by something that's not, super impactful, like it will ruin your day because you'll miss the clear or whatever. You could just go right back in. There's the shield mechanic is gone, all that. But I think it's a really good way to test if you like using your mobility, and if you're stressed, under a slightly stressful situation, if you can adapt with your character's mobility and make it to the end zone. Because the skill looking flashy is one thing, but if it's not functional, or if it's doesn't get you from point A to B, you're gonna end up with frustration in certain boss fights. Where it's like, oh, I wish I had this other skill from this other class to be able to do that, right? So do you have some are your characters all like, if I look at your Legion, are they all going to be like level 200 and 210 and then they're going to be stopped there? Or do you have a few that are like into 220s or...
My second highest level character is 210 right now. I have most of my link skills that can go to level 3 are at 210.
Yeah.
Everything else is either sitting at 200 or 141. So growth pod waiting room, basically.
Yeah. So it's highly efficient in terms of levels. Bare minimum, all in service of the main character.
The most Legion with the least effort, basically. and
Yeah, it
I
makes sense
have
for
a
your
few
situation.
classes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a few classes that I want to bring to at least Heartlomian, but I just can't bring myself to work on them yet because I feel like it's a big investment of time.
It is, yeah, and it takes away a lot of time from your main character that can still grow a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah,
So
the
right
further
now I'm
your
just.
main character
Mhm.
is away from your second character, the more your second character will feel like a noob, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. So right now I thinking I just farm either Limina or Grandis first and probably work on my boss mill once minor picnic hits because I believe it comes with 2 terabins.
I saw one. Uh, I guess, yeah, we haven't seen the full details yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday or Wednesday, we should have the patch notes, and then we can see the details. From
Yeah.
what I saw, the first week or first day reward was the first day reward of the first week was a Terraburn, but I don't know if you saw another one.
I believe it's first week and third or fourth week, but I might be wrong. I was referring to I think Maple C's patch notes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I tend to
Yeah.
look more at the KMS ones. Even though Maple Sea follows KMS more closely than we do,
Mm-hmm.
they do have their own versions of events a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times where it's like slightly adjusted. So I tend to look more at KMS for us. But then, yeah, some things translate generally better, and then some things you just kind of see like we're not going to get that. Um,
Yeah.
the main thing was looking at is that the event in Korea was 5 weeks, and I think it's going to be 6 weeks for us. So some of the uh, there might be more rewards, but then the individual chunks of the rewards might be a little bit lower for us. So that's most likely that's what I'm expecting. But yeah, we'll have to see the details. If you have two, then obviously you can get two characters Terra Burn, but you would just get them to 200 and wait there, or are there characters on your list that are not 200 yet?
I'll probably make whatever bossing meal I feel is more suitable for my playstyle, and
Mm-hmm.
because Terrabun comes with the CRA set, I might use it to push levels and bosses probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get those extra clears a little bit easier. But you have
Yeah,
good
yeah.
Legion and you have good Link skills and you have mechanical skill already, so I don't know if that's going to make a significant difference, honestly. I mean, CRA set is nice, but boss accessory pieces and set bonus and all that, that goes a long way too. I mean, it helps, of course, but knowing your 5th job kit and using that well is way more impactful on the damage, and knowing how the boss moves, and when to bind and when to burst it and stuff, that's going to give you way more damage than the CRA kit ever will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could save up some FAMs, so you can get some 15% IEDs. That's usually really good value on new characters. And if you get good WSE, I guess don't go too hard on the weapon until you settled on exactly what weapon you're going for. But a secondary and emblem, you can very quickly rank up and tier up. That'll give them a lot of damage. And then yeah, how many nodes do you have to work with right now?
I think I have like 8,000 sitting in my storage,
Mm-hmm.
so I can work on quite a few meals easily. I
Yeah.
just can't
What?
bring myself to do it.
I think once you'll boss on it and it's fun, that you'll want to do it weekly.
Yeah, hopefully. So I was thinking for every Terraburn or every Hyperburn, I'll start working on something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a pretty good rhythm. I mean, it's to some people that'll seem really slow, but I think that's a good rhythm.
Yeah, because either way, I'm gonna be farming Meso, so there's
Mm-hmm.
not really time wasted in a sense.
No, exactly, and you'll just take the resource you have more of. So if the next project, like Arcane project, is gonna be really big here, so you'll need the money. But nodes don't help with that, so you can farm. You can fund a little bit more nodes. But you can get very far on a character with just like 200 nodes. You can get a very, very strong V matrix already for a bossing meal.
Yeah.
Probably Lotus and Damien is doable with that. But again, for some characters, right? So just give 2 characters as they need, and not have too much of like a specific number in mind of what a character could have or should have, right? Like I see people who have like level 30 Lord of the Deep on a character that's only doing like up to HMAG and CPAP or something, and be like, or and like a catchy. Be like, hey, you can do that, but if that character had like level 10 Lord of the Deep or level 5 Lord of the Deep, it probably would kill it or like around the same time. It's not really like Lord of the Deep high level is super important. You know, you get good DPM off, but like your howling fists are what's gonna destroy the bosses on the bossing mule, and your lightning form. Like it's not as much going to be the Lord of the Deep. Lord of the Deep is there to when you're mobbing that you can keep 100% uptime on like killing on high level areas, right? That's and also useful for bossing, of course, for DPM. But like it's mostly when you're doing bossing mule, a lot of the time is just spent hopping between the bosses and traveling to the next one. So it does come down a little bit more to being nuky. So that's why a lot of people like the 2-minute burst class, because you can just do 2-minute burst, kill it, 2-minute burst, kill it. And if you're going to be burst buffing for funding, I should say, for the further levels, then 3-minute classes start becoming a little bit more meaningful, because you can kill things in like maybe half of a burst. So now you can become like a 90-second burst class or something. Like I like the Kane a lot, for example, for that. I'm not like a Kane player, but he's got like a bunch of like strong nuki buffs that you can use together on like a 90-second and a 3-minute. But if you get strong enough, he doesn't need to use both of them. You could just use half of them. So now you become like a 45-second bursting character if you're strong enough. So then that takes and essentially a 3-minute character into like a different dimension in terms of bossing mule and what it can do and how versatile it can be.
Yeah, makes sense.
So when you're looking at the kit like that, you know, if you get really strong on a DPM character, that's even more useful, right? Because then you can just keep blowing through everything without ever needing to stop. So that's why the fire poison, I think, is useful. And the DA becomes useful if you get further into the game and you know the positioning of the boss as well, and being in frenzy isn't actually an extra risk for you. For a new player, I would never advise it, right? Because he's got a terrible crit rate and you're going to die to everything if you don't really know what the boss is doing. But if you know what the boss is doing and your Legion and your links are built up and you're looking for a character that you don't need to fund a whole lot, but it can reliably kill the bosses, you know, in a timely manner, then DPM characters become more of an option. And if you're going far, what you'll have to think about as well is like in terms of funding rings, like are you just going to rely on event rings for a while? Are you going to hope for boss rings? Are you going to, you know, aim for those depending on how useful those are? Eventually you'll want some Oz rings, but yeah, if you're sticking to a boss mule, a lot of the times, unless you're partying for a while for the higher level bosses, there's a really good chance you don't end up with any useful rings.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more or less the questions that I have.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see the details of all your Legion, but I was expecting it to be a very mathematically efficient Legion to start off with, just to support the main character.
Oh, okay, so during launch, because of Identisk and all the Legion events, it was really easy. So I just
imagine,
popped
yeah.
every character at 101, and I just brought them to storage over and over and over again until everyone's 141.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And basically they've just sat there since then.
Yeah, that was a lot of EXP for new players. That's kind of wild, yeah. Yeah, it's still like I did the strawberry farm. Did that help you get 200s and 210s or?
Oh, that pushed my Legion, I believe, from 6.9 to 7.3.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, like for my account, I just did all of the runs on the last day on my 254 or 253 hero to get it into 254, so I could start going towards Black Mage. You know, that's like how I yeah. Your inner sucks. Well, for inner, I mean, yeah, you're just saving up honor for the Dreamers switch, right?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Black Circulators probably.
Yeah, you can Black Circulator on this, yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you're gonna make a new, if you're gonna make extra inner ability, right? When that comes, probably make more sense to make that one have just 20 drop and 15 meso. Would you go the other way around?
I'm probably gonna have 3 presets, one for mobbing, one for bossing, and one for breaking the loot box, I would assume. Yeah.
But will the mobbing one have drop rate high and mezzo low, or do you just not want to? Because this one is going to become the mobbing one, so would you
This
keep
one will
the,
essentially stay for mobbing.
would you keep that second line for mobbing? I guess you're not one-shotting.
I mean, ideally, this is pretty much as good as it gets for mobbing.
Yeah. Because you have to, there's like 10% damage to normal monsters probably, right? Like there is for...
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that'd be 2% of it, which is, yeah.
that's a lot of honor investment for
Yeah, that's way too much.
very
honor investment
minimal.
Yeah. Or is it only up to epic? Yeah. Normal monsters. There you go. Oh yeah, legendary 10%. Yeah. What is a higher percent chance for 10% than for 9%? That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I know that wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, it's still 8% at unique, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Yeah. Yeah, Black Circulator this then. Yeah. Which, that's nice though. Like, they used to be rarely there's one here and there, and now the big events have like 5 or more in shops now. And
Yeah,
since
yeah, it's really nice.
you're at the stage where sometimes there's very little that you can really buy with your currency, so it's nice to be able to have something to sink that into. And have a small chance of making some gains. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess I don't see anything else to really talk about. I just could... Yeah, I mean, secondary rolling on the side and all that. I mean, I think you've got your star forcing cut out for you, right? Your money is just going to go into arcanes for a while.
Yeah, it's just Arcane Box waiting room, because I haven't seen one since my January BM clear.
Oh, not a single box. Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
unfortunate.
not a single Arbor box, so it's very frustrating.
So to get the weapon to 19 first, then, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to unseal. I locked it for too long.
Oh, you locked it, yeah. So you can't do anything with it.
Yep.
You were afraid you were gonna drop it, or?
Yeah, I was afraid I was gonna like tap it on impulse, so I locked it.
Damage control. Okay. It's like a chastity belt for your
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
bow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, emblem is something that you want to do something with, but you just want to get the Saren one instead and get that over with. You don't have like double emblem, right? I don't think Hyperion ever had the chance for that.
Oh no, there's no way, I believe, to get a second emblem.
No, that's what I thought. Okay. Drop gated, pitch gated, event gated here. Psych gated. What is the sack again for normal colors?
I think it's 300. I'm at 290 now.
It's like 250 P1 and 300 P2, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's got like separate levels as well, I believe. Is it normal colors? It's like the only boss that changes levels. Yeah, first phase is 275 and the second phase is 280. 250, 300, yeah. Yeah, so you're gonna go from 10% final damage reduction to plus 20% with the 3 levels.
Plus 10%. I think sec is 5%.
Yeah. Up to 25, up plus 50, yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it's still, I mean, that's still a big difference. Going from 90% to 110% of your damage. So that's
Yeah, definitely.
on 4 point field. Like 22% damage increase or something? Yeah, 22% FD increase. That's pretty good. And you're at 19? Oh, 16. 16T now. So 22% increase is 3.5 increase. So you could end up at 19.5 going on 20 with some upgrades. That's a completely different picture than Then 16, yeah, that'll help a lot. But yeah, you've got the. Have you done any practice with normal Kalos? No, probably not yet.
No, we've only been cheesing nKalos with just bursting it.
Just pressing it, yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Well, I wish you good luck on all of that. Any last words? You want to do any shout outs to the boys or something?
Nah.
Fuck the boys.
Fuck the boys.
Oh, hey yo.
Thank you for the help, though.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how how helpful I could be because when I went through the pictures and everything, I didn't even know it was Hyperion, right? But if you're in Hyperion already this far, I feel like very much like there's not too much I can like open your eyes to that you didn't really already consider. But I mean, sometimes it's good to just talk through it and kind of just bounce ideas and just talk about it out loud, you know, with someone. That can help as well. So yeah, hopefully it was I'm glad it was helpful for you. That's ultimately the most important, whether I feel super useful in this or not. But yeah, if there's anything else, let me know, and otherwise I'll just see you around on stream.
Yep, sure. Thanks a lot for today.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya, bye. All right. Yeah, dude, when he said he was on a Hyperion and he had all of this, I was like, oh man, this guy's like a grind monster. Look at that Hexa Matrix. That's some massive stuff going on here. But yeah, I'll get that Legion to 8k in no time. Events like these are a blessing. I think, honestly, dude, if you love grinding, just keep grinding, man. You have your character already invested. It is a high price to invest into a bossing mule. It was best suited for someone like me who didn't really want to commit to just one character, you know? I wanted to test the lay of the land and try a bunch of different characters, then because their characters automatically kind of become bossing mules just through existing, just through osmosis. So yeah, then it makes sense that you can turn that into gains. But if you really love grinding on a singular character, it kind of sucks that he has to take a little bit of a step back because just Sec Gate on the higher level areas, you just can't really go faster than that. There's some symbols coming though, so that's nice. That'll give a little bit of a boost. I don't remember exactly how many, but if you add all of it up together with the shops and the exploration, it was a decent amount. I think in total, there was a 40... Well, you know, considering if you get for what Korea got, I think there was a 40 selector, and then up to like... Was it 2 a day for... I don't think it was 5 weeks. But I think all in all, it's over 200. And then the shop where you could buy some. So it's definitely good progress. So yeah, if you're in a similar situation as this guy, which you probably aren't, if you're also rank 1 Bowmaster in Hyperion, level 280, waiting on armor boxes because everything else is 22, with a over 50% completely clean, probably like 65% cleared Hexa Matrix, you know, as you would be, as many of us are, you know. Definitely me. Then yeah, hopefully it was useful. If you're finding yourself in a similar situation, you know, like do I keep grinding? Do I go for boss mules? Do I go for familiars? It can ultimately come down to just trying it for like a few days, trying it for a week, and just seeing how you feel after that. You know, like you make absolutely no gains. You feel like it's slowing down your progress too much. Then you can always switch back, but then at least you tried it. But come up with a plan, come up with an amount of hours, divide your time up, slightly remanage, and then give it a go. And for boss mules, if you're very picky, you want to push them very hard, make sure, just to recap, make sure that you're funding for what the character is supposed to be doing. If you don't know how far the character is going to go, fund it as a regular progression character. If you know exactly where it's going to go, fund it for that point, nothing more, nothing less, so you can be more efficient with your money, right? And to each character as they require, and from each character as they are able to give. Right? Because once a character starts making resources, they can start contributing to the fund, and now the next character is going to be a little bit more a little bit cheaper to fund. You know, so what the waterfall, the cascade of resources. All right, so if you would like one of these sessions, make sure to check exclamation mark coaching in the description as well. There'll be a link. Leave a comment if you'd like to win a free progression session. Otherwise, request it through Twitch chat if you're subbed, or send me a dono, and then we can set something up through Discord. Other than that, I wish you guys a good rest of your day. Check out one of the other videos that might pop up here, or See you in the next one. Or see you live over at Twitch, twitch.tv/Scardor. I stream there every day. So feel free to drop by and ask any questions. We have resources, we have information, we have some cool people, and we have amazing stuff. See you there.